Saudi Cap everybody, it's Niall in Thailand here, and we are heading towards Soi 21 at the moment. I am going to a co-working space to get some work done today. I've got a lot of work to do. I need to make some calls to Dublin today, some of my clients in Dublin, get some end of the month stuff that really should have been done last week. But I wanted to do a kind of a comparison video today. I wanted to talk about the differences between working in a cafe versus working in a co-working space. And I haven't actually gone to a co-working space in a while. It's been a pretty quiet 2 months, I gotta say. Shockingly quiet. I want to discuss the pros and cons of both. What are the advantages of working in a cafe versus working in a co-working space, and vice versa. Like a co-working space is going to cost you between 300 to 400 baht depending on where you go, and a cafe is obviously free. Your price of admission is a coffee, and that's the thing. You see, some of the co-working spaces, they include coffee. Like it's just go up to the canteen and get as many coffees as you want, but they're not as nice, It'll just be standard filter coffee, which, each their own. It's not my favorite though. I like a milky latte. Okay guys, so we're in the company work link, which, like I said, is on Soi 23. And to be honest, this is the busiest I've ever seen this place. Like it's usually pretty empty, but it's good. It's good for them. It's good for business for them. It's kind of like the scene in, the bars, empty for quite some time, and now all of a sudden they're getting busy. So it's good to see. Means the economy's picking up. So anyway, let's talk about the pros and cons between working in either a cafe or working in a co-working space. So pros of a co-working space: it's always quiet. That's what you want when you're trying to get a lot of work done. I'm probably the noisiest person in here right now. When you're in a cafe, you have a lot more to deal with. Trust me. Wow, it is crazy busy today. Okay. So I didn't get as much done today as I was hoping for. It's just been, too busy. I probably should have just stayed local today. The coffee in here is actually, it's included in the price. There's a little coffee machine over there. I'll give you a look at it now in a few minutes. There's quite a lot of people here today. Still, no problem getting a seat. There's there's full desks over there. There's 2 full desks over there for, if you have a few people working. There's single desks here. This is what a single desk looks like. Good, comfortable chair. So, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 desks here. And there's only 3 of us working, so again, no problem getting a seat. There's a space just around the corner there. If you want to work out and look at the city while you're working, you have a great view of the city from here. So you've got that also. The main thing, Wi-Fi is great. Always, in a co-working space, the Wi-Fi is going to be fantastic, and it's Starbucks, it's shit. I hate to say it, but I love Starbucks usually, but the Wi-Fi is always terrible. And I've actually done a speed check on it here, so you can check it out for yourself. This is basically Starbucks Wi-Fi versus using my own 4G network on my phone. So even the 4G isn't great, but in comparison to the Starbucks, it's phenomenally good. Yeah. Another pro here is the equipped workstations. So there's a little phone booth over there. So if you want to do make some private phone calls, you've got some phone calls to make for clients back home. You want some privacy. You want some quiet. There's an actual soundproof. Well, I'm not sure if it's soundproof, but it's like a little kind of a square phone booth that you would see back in the good olden days. And you just close the door behind you, and you have it to yourself. It's kind of cool actually. So just that, and for good facilities as well. There's a little printing dock here. So you can just go up to they only have A4, but still just so you have that option. You're not getting that in Starbucks or any cafe for that matter. and other stuff like, like stuff that I'm not thinking of offhand, but like, the stationery supplies usually also. There's a little canteen, like just stuff like that, like, And usually the canteens will be subsidized as well. So, if you're looking for a sandwich or something like that, it will be considerably cheaper than it would be to get it in a place like Starbucks. So they're all the pros. What are the cons of working in a workspace? Well, there's a fee, you know what I mean? It's going to cost you, this place I think is 275 baht. It's not terrible, but that is a cost that you incur. Like, you'll get 2 coffees for that, and that will probably pay for, normally when I'm working in Starbucks or something like that, I will probably get 2 coffees, and, the fee that you pay here will pay for that. So it's kind of a wash. So, if you don't have that much work to do, it's probably worth your while just going to a place like Starbucks, because you'll get away with just buying 1 coffee, it's 130 baht or whatever. And then, you're free to get your 3 or 4 hours work done there. Another problem is a lot of these can be inaccessible. You know what I mean? Starbucks, for example, you can get them everywhere. Like, they're all over the place. There's 3, there's 3 within walking space. There's 3 within walking space of my condo building. They're everywhere. Like, you find them in every single mall. Co-working spaces, they tend to be a little bit out of the way. Like, it's usually, close enough to a BTS stop, but still a bit of a walk. Like, this is probably about between 5 and 8 minute walk from the Terminal 21 BTS stop. So, if it's raining out, that'll be an issue, like, lack of lunch options. Like this, it's not so bad here, because just outside there's quite a few restaurants, and a few of them, the park, for example, there's hardly any places around there, like, it can be a joyous experience. True. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come out here, don't expect to have any kind of fun or any kind of, like, crack around at that. The Mint is actually all right, but most places are like, no, we're here to work. We're not here to make friends. We're not here to have a good time. Just you do your thing, I'll do my thing. Don't interrupt me. So, that's good for you as well. Like, like if you're here to get work done, that's what you want. But there is that end of it. And the few locations. So yeah, like, whereas, like I said before, there are literally hundreds of options for Starbucks. There's probably only a handful here for co-working spaces. Like, I've been here for 6 months. I'd say I've found less than a dozen. So, you have to contend with that also. All right, let's talk about the cafes. Pros for cafes: they're free. You don't have to pay in. Let's just run through this, because I've spent a lot on the workspaces. So, unlike the workspaces, they're free. You don't need to. You don't need to pay a fee to come in. Your fee is the price of a cup of coffee. They're accessible, so they're everywhere. Many lunch options. So most of them will be in a mall or something like that, and therefore, there's a lot of options for when you want to take a break for lunch. And there's an exciting ambience. There's a lot of people around you. They're all having it. Some are working, but some are just having a chat, and some are just having a bit of a break from the day. So, you've got that going on around you. The cons: the coffee can be quite expensive in Starbucks, like 130 baht every time you want a coffee. So that's, let's say you get 2 a day, that's 260 baht. That's what the equivalent of it is here. And the coffee here is free. Well, it's not free, it's included in your price. They can be very distracting, like, they're very loud. Like, Starbucks and cafes in general. They're, people that are going there aren't necessarily going there to work. So a lot of them are just going there to have catch up with their friends, have a chat. And you can't turn around and say, look, I'm trying to work here, can you be quiet? You know what I mean? It's not the kind of place you can do that. You can do that here. Like, if someone's, I'm doing a video right now. If someone came up next to me and said, listen, I'm trying to work, like, would you mind keeping it down? I'd have to shut the video off and do that, like, The whole point of people coming here is to have a quiet, place to work. Sometimes you can't get a seat. That's a big problem in cafes. Like, you go into a Starbucks, quite often they're full, or, they might not be full, but the places that are, good for working, like, have a good sized desk, for example, all those might be full. All those seats might be taken. Wi-Fi is terrible. Wi-Fi in Starbucks is absolutely shit. Really can't say that enough. It's terrible. Lack of charging spaces, that's another thing. Like, you know, like I just got here, first thing the lady did was give me this. She gave me a little thing to plug in my laptop, plug in my phone, you know, whatever the case may be. So, you know, it's obviously something that's very important here. Lack of general resources. Yeah, like, you know, Starbucks are in the business of selling coffee. They're not in the business of, you know, giving you printing options or selling stationery or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. So, you know, if you show up at work one morning and, you know, you forgot your scale rule, for example, it's happened to me more than once. In those situations, what do? You basically got to pack up your stuff and go home. If I'm here, there's a little stationery shop here. You know, I can just go in and buy myself a new calculator if I don't have mine with me. You know, it's pretty convenient. Anyway, there are all things to think about whenever you're deciding what you want to do here when you need to get a bit of work done. Do you want to go to a cafe? Do you want to go to a co-working space? Co-working space, it's going to cost you somewhere up to about 300 baht. This place is 275. It's pretty central. Starbucks, like I said, it's free, but you will spend that on coffee, in my opinion. So it really does depend on what you want. Do you want a quiet ambience, or do you want to have decent coffee? That's really what it comes down to. Okay, hope this was helpful, guys, and I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.
We'll be right back.